What's going on, YouTube? It's a place to be chill, Mr. A&E back to give you guys another movie experience. And this weekend is the whole week delay. I was excited about doing this review. I couldn't wait to do this review. I told y'all since the first trailer came out and since I was playing the game and everything that we're going to be doing the review of the new 2021 edition of Mortal Kombat. So this obviously, Mortal Kombat has been around for decades. I have been a diehard Mortal Kombat fan ever since the game first came out. I have had every single Mortal Kombat game ever to come out, watched every single movie, the good ones and the bad ones, was only but two. Okay, so this one I'm really looking for something to give me what the lore is when it comes to the blood, the violence, the curse, and all that stuff like that. And I'm happy to say this movie does it. So, but this time we changed up the story a little bit. We have this character named Cole Quinn who has his birthmark that say that he's one of the chosen ones. So now Laura Ray goes around to get all his combatants ready for the tournament that's coming up. That's going to be hosted by Outworld. So we're going to see as these guys will get prepared for the tournament, how did this Mortal Kombat do? Is it like the original? Is it true to the story? Whatever the case may be. Well, I'm gonna give you guys the good, I'm gonna give you guys the bad, and I'm gonna give you guys the slight spoils of experience and how I feel looking at it as a Mortal Kombat fan, because I'm going to be slight biased on a lot of things. So start off with the good. All right, when you look at Mortal Kombat, when you look at these kind of movies, the first thing you want to look at is the authenticity of it. And one thing I liked about it is, off the back, I know everybody's gonna probably say the martial arts, the blood, the gore. I like the diversity in this thing because, see, Mortal Kombat, the whole story was about a lot of lore where it had a lot of, actually, believe it or not, a lot of different races of people. Especially when it rooted deeply into the Japanese and Chinese cultures, and we didn't get that from any of the original ones. The only kind of diversity we had was like Liu Kang and Jax, and everybody else was like white. Okay, so but now I appreciate how they have Hanzo Hasashi as Scorpion as Japanese, and they have Bihan as Chinese. I enjoyed that. The Shang Tsung, you have Jax. Melina, she's not really black, white, Puerto Rican, anything like that. She's Adenian. Okay, so all the Adenians look all different kinds of people over in Adenia. You can look at Rain, Jade, Melina, Katana, Melina's a creation and stuff like that. So they all look different. So I appreciate the diversity that they brought into the movie. Then with that being said, we'll make sure we get that out of the way. We got to make sure we get to the fights. It's great to see martial arts back. It's great to see hand-to-hand kind of fighting back in this movie. I enjoyed that a lot, especially when it comes to the blood. You want to see the blood, you want to see the fatalities. Well, they're going to be in this movie. They're not going to hold back from it at all, which is one thing I appreciate, because once that is what the one that the Mortal Kombat movies lacked in, because they were up to PG-13, and I'm like, no, Mortal Kombat needs to be rated R. I know they're trying to sell a quick buck, especially with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but right now, this is we going here for the blood. This is rated R. And it feels rated R. It may sacrifice for the budget a little bit, but it is rated R, and it's great to see the fights and how violent the fights can get, especially after that Warner Brothers animated movie that came out last year. I felt as though that was like that's the kind of violence you want to see in a Mortal Kombat movie when you see it, and I think it gives great fan service in that way. When it comes to the characters, when it comes to the good side, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but one of the best characters in this movie is Kano. The guy who they have to play Kano in this movie, I mean, spot on. I enjoyed the performance from Kano in the first movie. Please forgive me if I don't remember his name, but he has been like the standard for Kano going down. And this guy, after seeing, especially when you play Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, and see how Kano, the iteration of Kano is, he nails that version of Kano perfectly. And I was like, he was an enjoyment to the movie, especially I'll get to that later, but he was a very much enjoyment to the movie. Then we have Jax. Jax is cool, but he wasn't, to me, he wasn't the standout I wanted Jax to be, but he was fine, because the other than Kano, the next standout is Bihan. Sub-Zero is a badass in this movie. I really enjoyed what they did with Sub-Zero. They spent a lot of time on Sub-Zero. They gave Sub-Zero to the point, this man is menacing, okay? To the point where you just do not want to mess with Sub-Zero at all. I think Kano and Sub-Zero are the heightened when it comes to the characters in this movie as well. They're, like I said, the little side characters, Jax and Sonya, are fine. I feel as though It's cool to see Raiden be Raiden, but that's as much as I can take it when it comes to about Raiden. And the movie is not long at all. It's 30 minutes. I mean, not 30 minutes. I'm sorry. It's 90 minutes long. And then you got about, or I would say, excuse me, I'll say about an hour and 40 minutes long. 10 minutes about credits. So, that's where, unfortunately, I got to get into my bad. So brace yourself, because I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. Let's get into the bad. So off the back, when it comes to the bad Mortal Kombat film, first of all, number one, it looked like this movie was supposed to be like 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 5 minutes, something like that, and they cut like 20 minutes off, but they didn't know where to cut it at. And I'm like, this thing just feels rushed a lot of time. This is like it's trying to get to that point where it sacrifices story and character development for lore and gore type thing. And I'm like, see, I need all that in my Mortal Kombat. That's why you can't rush two things. And number one, I tell you, I knew it when I saw it in the trailer. I knew it when I read about it. I talked about it on the podcast, and everybody was right. I cannot stand Cole Quinn. I hate him. He is one of the worst characters in this movie. I have said to myself, Cole Quinn is about as exciting as hand sanitizer was before COVID. I really can't stand this guy at all. He's lifeless. His character brings nothing. And the character that I knew that he was going to be, he is in this movie. I knew it. I said, why are you even doing it? Will we actually have an actual character in the lore that can represent that in the first place? Okay, there was no need for that. And I give him respect for trying to introduce a new character and things like that. Try to make something different to help, because you got to help sell it to this new generation. Everything's about selling to the new generation. Okay, I understand that, especially when it comes to superhero movies and Marvel movies, stuff like that. But the diehards like us, the people who are diehard Mortal Kombat fans, who have been with Mortal Kombat, is in 30s and 40s. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, we old. All right, so there's a little bit of old school reign that we still want to see with our Mortal Kombat, but you got to help sell to the new generation that's coming up. And I understand that, and I respect that. I understand movies have to do that. They'll bring in a new audience, but my God, they just sacrifice so much for it. And a lot of the characters are wooden. I talked about the characters that I liked in the good, but the wooden ones in here, they are shown. Raiden is like, I love seeing him be Thunder God, but he don't do much. He don't say much. He don't feel like the protector of Earth at all. And I understand he's a god, and I don't know how many gods supposed to have that, but personality or anything like that. But he just felt so wooden. Luke Kane, out of everybody, I felt as though like they have Luke Kane and Kung Lao, the Shaolin monks, in this movie, and I was just like, oh my God, Luke Kane is boring me to the up-teeth power. I could not stand Luke Kane in this movie. I was like, there's something about him I just don't like. I don't know if he's too small. I don't know. I just never felt anything about Luke. I did not feel Chosen One, Mortal Kombat champion, defender of Earthrealm, Luke Kane in this movie at all. Kung Lao it was cool to see Kung Lao, because Kung Lao is one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters. I would have put more of the arrogance onto him, and I felt as though they kind of like cheapened my man out in the movie. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand what point you're trying to get to here, but that, I hate the sacrifice thing. And they changed the story around a lot. And I'm like, okay. But this, after going through it, this is supposed to be the prequel before the tournament. And I'm like, okay, you want to, basically, this is a movie where you want to introduce everybody to the world of Mortal Kombat before we get into this tournament storyline, because that's what Mortal Kombat's bread and butter is, along with the violence, and along with the gore and the martial arts. Mortal Kombat has probably had one of the best stories and most enriched stories in fighting game history, to be honest with you. Okay, and it's hard to because it's hard to make video game movies, but this has probably had one of the best stories in the lore. And it's like when you're going in there, you like, I want to see the tournament. I want to see the build up to the tournament. I want to see them gain the characters together like they did in the first one, where it was all about trifecta Mortal Kombat of Luke Cage, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade. And we didn't have that here. Okay, we didn't have it, and it's like they were prepared for a tournament. I was sitting there like, there were so many different story elements that was there that I will definitely get to in my spoiler review, because that'll take too much time here. But that bothered me, and I had a fear this movie was going to do this. It has a Mortal Kombat Annihilation problem, and what that Mortal Kombat Annihilation problem is, Mortal Kombat Annihilation was nothing but a cash grab that was late. Okay, Mortal Kombat came out in 1995. By this time, when the first Mortal Kombat movie came out, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 was hitting the markets. Okay, so with that being said, when 1997 happened, Mortal Kombat 4, we're already in the 3D age of Mortal Kombat, and now we're just telling the second story. So what they try to do is they try to take all the characters that you like, and they try to combine 3 games into one movie when it comes to characters. That's what they tried to do. In this movie, they try to give you too much fan service. And it's weird. It's like, if I'm Mortal Kombat fan, I know who these people are, but they just sticking them in the movie just to say, hey, there's that character. Hey, there's that character. Hey, that's that character. No backstory. Here's that character. Oh, wait a minute. You're here too? Well, we haven't seen you in a while. Let's put him out there. Let's do this character. Oh, wait, you want to see him have this? Like, oh my God. And after a while, I was like, this is the same thing Mortal Kombat Annihilation did. They just stuck people in there just to put them in there, just to get a fan service. Because people are like, oh, I see one of my favorite characters, but there's no backstory, there's no build-up, there's no nothing to all that. And Mortal Kombat has one of the most stories where most of the characters are enriched in something. And it bothers me that they changed that a lot. But once again, I will get to more deeply into that, to my spoilers, but now let's go into the experience. All right, here's the experience around the back real quick, people. I'm going to give slight spoilers. A slight spoiler. So if you guys have not seen Mortal Kombat yet, make sure you guys go see it. You can come back to this section of the video or stop it right now. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I'm giving you guys slight spoilers, so you have been warned. The full spoiler review will be this weekend. So look, I'm telling you right now, Johnny Cage is not in this movie at all.
CageCon doesn't exist without me. They can pay.
They tease Johnny Cage at the end, so he's going to be part of the sequel. The director's saying that, you know, Johnny Cage, the way his personality is, and that he fits more into the tournament storyline, which I do agree with. I do agree that he does fit into the tournament storyline in this one. But me being a Johnny Cage fanatic, okay, me being a huge Johnny Cage fan, it sucks that I could not see Johnny Cage in this movie. Okay, that bothers me. I got Johnny Cage paraphernalia everywhere, all across my room that I had, because I'm a huge Johnny Cage mark. Okay, so it bothered me that he was not in the movie. So, but they did tease him at the end. Cole Quinn, as you guys would know, like I said, slight spoilers, is Scorpion's son. I knew that. I knew it. I was like, God, I didn't need that. Especially if anybody knows the Mortal Kombat story, we kind of got a Scorpion adopted son storyline when he took in Kenshi's son. That's how we got Takeda. Okay, so, I was like, why is Cole Quinn, especially when he is just not that great at all? And I'm just like, hey, he was the one of the people that was going out to try to start in Shang-Chi for Marvel. Oh, I'm not gonna get too much spoilers. Like I said, I'm gonna give it the spoilers this weekend. One thing I did forget to mention in my good is that they have a fun way of explaining the powers. Because I know my sister came to me, and she's not a Mortal Kombat fan like I am. She was like, if they're Mortal Kombat, how do they have powers? And I was just like, well, okay, it's more complicated than that. The way they explain them having powers in the movie, I thought was kind of cool. So I will give them that. So look, overall, guys, Mortal Kombat is, like, if you're not deep Mortal Kombat, it's a fun time. You go to movies, check it out, or you guys can watch it on HBO Max. It's a fun time. You know what I'm saying? It's something I go in here with just those kind of expectations, kind of like Godzilla versus Kong type thing. If you are a Mortal Kombat fan, there are going to be some things that's going to be hard to turn away from, to be honest with you, and especially the diehard fans, there are going to be things that will just rub you the wrong way. But you got to take into consideration that this is the prequel to the tournament, so we got to see how the tournament is going to turn out. And everything, because there's some characters that are wasted, or the story arcs just move way too quickly. So, but for me, when it comes to Mortal Kombat 2021, I'm going to give Mortal Kombat a hashtag give it a chance. You know, I reckon, like I said, it's still a fun time for the weekend, fun movie to check out. If you're a Mortal Kombat fan, still by default you have to watch the movie. Okay, by default, if you're a diehard Mortal Kombat fan like I am, you have to watch this. But you know, if you haven't watched Mortal Kombat already, post that in the comments down below how you guys feel about Mortal Kombat. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed my review. Hit the subscribe button for more movie experiences as I reviewed Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation this weekend as well. And subscribe for more movie experience right here on NC Studios. So once again, it's NC a place to be. Chill with Mr. Andy, and I'll see you at the movies.